All right, one of the most basic examples, and we will refer to this as routine calculation in trigonometry, is to be able to find a side given an angle and one side. Take note, if we knew this side here, we could simply use Pythag and find the value of x. But in this case, we only know an angle and we only know the one side. We need to find the other side. First things first, once you have an angle, first establish what is the opposite and what is the adjacent, the hypotenuse. That is very important because we've got a winning formula or recipe here, SOHCAHTOA. And so I want you to be aware in this case, since 37 is the angle, then that side, the x, will be the opposite. And we know this standard in any right angle triangle. The side which is opposite to the right angle is the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse must be the longest side as well. Okay, now that we have established that, by default, that unknown side is the adjacent. Now, we need to use just one, either sine, cosine, or tan, just one of those, which will obviously in this case link the opposite and the hypotenuse. Somehow that happens to be the SOH, so that is the sine. So you are more than welcome then to write that sine 37 will be the opposite, which is side x, over the hypotenuse, which is 5. From here, you just have your basic cross multiplication technique here, because this is just that thing over 1. So you're just going to multiply here. X times 1 is x, and 5 times sine 37 is 5 sine 37. Please, word of advice, I strongly suggest that you write 5 in front of sine 37, because you don't want to find yourself typing sine 375 in a calculator. That's going to be a very fatal error. You're going to get an answer out of this world. So please be aware of that. I strongly suggest you write x in front of sine 37. From here, we're just going to do calculator work. I hope you have your calculator and it is in the correct mode, degree mode. You press that, I get a very nice number, 3.001. If I round this to 2 decimal places, I should say 0.1, like that. Okay. And it's important to actually follow rounding instructions. By default, we just go for 2 decimal places. Otherwise, if the instruction dictates that you round off to the nearest whole number or 1 decimal place, please make sure that you adhere to such instruction. This will be 3.0 if it is 1 decimal place. That is 2 decimal place, and it will be 3 if it is rounded off to the nearest whole number. Whole number. Hashtag for number. All right, that's about it. More examples will follow. We still need to find out how do we calculate an angle if we are given sides. So those are the things, or basic procedures, which we will learn as far as trig ratios are concerned. Once we have mastered that, we will become more sophisticated to look at 2 triangles and etc., angles of elevation, depression, and so forth. Hope you've enjoyed this. Hit the like button. You can subscribe as well. Cheers.